Hi everyone, I'm Robin Zimmerman and this is Talk of the Town. We have Luke Gawronski with us again. As you know, he's a certified financial planner with Barnum Financial Group. And today we're talking about understanding your money mindset. And so my first question is, why is it the most overlooked part of financial literacy?
It's probably the most overlooked because of the technical aspect, the technical data that's thrown at us every day, the technical aspect of investing. And that makes sense. If you turn on the TV, you're going to see plenty of data on the TV. They're going to give you all this technical data because it's easy to show. It's easy to share with the viewer.
Right.
Someone comes on and speaks on one of those shows, they're going to back up what they're saying using this technical data. And a lot of times they'll use the same data to say different things. The problem with that is what do we take away from that data? You know, what do we gather from that data? Because if we're self-directing our investments and we're given all this data, what do we do with that? And what's mostly overlooked is what's important here is our emotional characteristics and our psychological traits, because that's what's going to define or determine what we take away from that data.
Okay, so my next question is, how do our beliefs about money influence our financial decisions?
Oh, you got a minute?
Like that one.
It's going to take a minute.
That's okay.
So beliefs stem from thoughts which come from feelings, or a lot of them. So when we're young, we're very empathetic creatures. We feel what our parents feel, what our friends feel, what our family feels. And these feelings, as we grow older, will become thoughts, and those thoughts sometimes become beliefs. Well, if we have a lot of negative experiences with money and a lot of negative thoughts towards money, negative's not good. Like, conservative's okay, but if these negative thoughts lead to negative views, it's going to affect the decisions we make. You're going to be more afraid of making mistakes. You're going to be more afraid of losing money than you are of making money.
Right.
Because you're going to be so anxious about what's going on. And how can you not be anxious today? I mean, inflation's going through the roof.
Right.
Cost of living's going through the roof, what leads into debt. And now you have people, is there anything more negative than drowning in credit card debt? You know, compound interest beating us down every single month and growing our debt. I mean, it's got to be one of the most negative things out there. So when I meet clients, the first thing I have to do is get to know them and get to know their emotional characteristics, their psychological traits before we even go into any kind of plan.
So do a lot of folks have that negative feeling about money and just that whole psychological feeling of, oh, I don't want to take a risk, I don't know what to do? Everyone's
different, so I can't say yes, everyone, but you can understand in the society we live in how important money is, how we can get anxious and stressful about money. It's very easy.
So what do we do to begin to change that mindset?
Great
Luke?
question. So let's talk about debt, okay? If someone's drowning in debt, my first step, the first thing I have to do is come up with a plan to get rid of that debt, to get rid of that negative feeling of compound interest working against you. It was Albert Einstein that said the most powerful force in the universe is compound interest. So let's get rid of that as a negative and maybe teach them to invest in something that has positive returns on compound interest. Let compound interest work for them instead of just working against them. Or when I'm determining a plan for a client or a couple, I need to make sure I understand who they are. I need to understand these traits, because I could put together the greatest plan in the world for them that's absolutely going to get them to their goals. But if it flies in the face of their emotional characteristics, if it just totally ignores their psychological traits, that plan's going to fall apart. They're not going to follow it, and it's going to be just another negative influence that's going to keep them on the negative side of the spectrum.
Okay, so Luke, kind of in conclusion, when someone's in that growth mindset about money, what is the next step?
Well, let's take in a growth mindset, which is just moving to the positive side of the spectrum. So they've experienced some positive experiences. They understand how compound interest can work for you, good investments can work for you. Then you have to use education to keep them there, okay? Stay on top of it. And you know, the great thing about the internet and social media is there's a lot of stuff out there for you to look into. The negative side of the internet and social media is there's a lot of stuff for you to look into out there. So you got to be really careful when you're using the internet. But you could go to seminars, you could go to these different trainings. I know my firm, Barnum Financial Group, we go into companies. We do a lot of financial seminars. If your company has, say, MetLife doing your benefits, one of the benefits some employers give are these free financial seminars, where you have a professional coming in and giving these to you. So, and I love that when my clients come to me and say, hey, I just took this course online, or I just took this seminar. It reminds me of when I used to be a teacher back in the day when I'd give homework. The kids would read and they'd answer the questions correctly, but then they'd come back to me to get a deeper understanding. And that's really what, as a financial planner, I'm doing, is I'm giving people a deeper understanding of the knowledge we're sharing with them.
Well, that's what I love about you, is you are an educator. You've always been an educator, just in a different area.
A different area now. Always been an educator. This is a different area, but it's still educating people.
That's great. Thank you, Luke Gawronski with Barnum Financial Group.